Where do I put the link?
I put the link in the chat.
Oh no, you did. You did in the wiki. I'm trying to put it into the original.
Well, that I can't do. It's on your site.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where the original one was and where the best place to stick it.
Well, how's my audio, by the way?
Sounds good.
Hello.
Hello.
Is that Eddie or Gregor?
This is Gregor. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but you're
Okay.
a little louder. I'm going to have to lower the volume, otherwise I won't be able to.
I'll speak more quietly.
No, I'm just lowering the volume on the headphones. Usually I don't have the little tiny ones.
Oh, I've got
missed
some
the view.
feedback though. Has somebody got an extra window open? Or is that me?
I don't hear any feedback.
Oh, there we go.
I don't either.
I think I was playing it in Slack, and it's got a 1 minute delay from the YouTube stream.
Let's see here. From let's see, from start to for the first half hour, take turns with the microphone 1 to 2 minutes on. If this is your first time, introduce yourself, name, URL, and what you'd like to do next with your personal site. Also, is somebody going to remember to take the group photo?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Should set a reminder in a half an hour.
Okay.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey guys, I think my headset's working now. I logged in earlier, but no audio for me.
Sound good over here?
Awesome.
I'm trying to decide whose background I like the best. So we have, let's see. We have ceiling light fixture. We have light fixture to right. Let's see. Natural light over to the left, and yeah, there. That's an interesting distribution.
Yeah.
If I knew I was going to be on camera, or actually I knew I was going to be on camera, I probably would have shaved or something. Anyway, what can you do?
So what's new on our websites?
Well, who wants to start that?
I don't have much, so I guess I'll go first. Nothing actually really new since the IndieWeb Summit. I worked there on, I did a fork of Quill, and I added citations to that with grand plans for the future that I've not worked on since then. So that's me. And gregorlove.com. Next.
Who gets to go next?
I nominate Chris.
I'll go next.
I like the lower third there.
With bafosacco.com that has been up and down all day because Peter Molnar decided to slash it at me by posting something to Hacker News. I looked a few minutes ago and I've either been number 1 or number 2 for the majority of the day on Hacker News, which has been an interesting experience.
Wow,
so that's really
awesome.
the newest new thing.
Sadly, by the way, my
about
mother's upset with you.
Yeah, literally a week ago, I turned off my I had a caching plugin and I turned it off because it was causing 2 different quirky problems, and didn't notice until about an hour after I got slashed at it. So I finally was able to get back in and turn it on. It's been back up for most of the day. I don't know. That's the big interesting news, I guess. And the nice part was it was an indie web related post, so hooray for that.
But will you apologize to my mother
I'll apologize to your mom.
and to all mothers by extension? I
Oh,
showed
no,
her the
I-
article, and now she's afraid to like anything that I do.
No, they're still going to do it. In fact, as I predicted this morning at around 10 o'clock, after Hacker News picked it up, I was like, okay, whatever activity the Facebook post has gotten, that's it. And I flipped the switch and set it to public so that my mom could see it. And literally in less than 10 minutes, she clicked like and moved on her way and has continued doing so, for the couple of posts since. So, I'm at least okay with my mom. So I don't know how yours could be too upset.
Well, I told her I didn't care. I'm not trying to boost engagement. If nobody notices, then nobody notices. They'll just
There
come
you
to
go.
my website.
That's one way to do
notice
it.
me there. Besides, she
Yeah.
liked the last few things, and people seem to be noticing that they existed. Although that may have just been the strangeness of what I was posting, because I don't post as often as Chris.
It looks like you're down to number 3 on Hacker News.
Yeah, I'm losing. I'm losing as we go along.
Is that good or bad?
It's from my website. It's good.
Allowed to have a rest.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So it's now down to 2 of us who have to give our 1 to 2 minute presentation. Want to flip
And
a
it's
coin?
Alrighty,
WP Super Cash is what I recommend.
I have a peso right here. So head or I don't know what that is. That's not a tail, but
The
It's
other
Manila.
side.
It's a shoe,
that's a shoe.
probably.
Are you taking head or other side that is not head?
I will take side that is not head.
Okay. Anyway, you won. Side that is not head.
Alrighty. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of changes recently. I'm actually rebuilding my site. It was Jekyll, and so I would have to like rebuild the static site every time I did updates, which has just been like, for the stuff I've been posting, it's just been a huge headache. So yeah, I'm rebuilding that in a JavaScript backend. So I finally got some good groundwork going on today, where I can actually like type in the permalink and the data will show up because I copied all the data over as static files. So I'm happy to be able to actually like, I don't have it printing out all the data, but I have it showing like the title or content and any photos attached to it if I type in the permalink. So I'm excited to see that moving forward.
Do you have a URL that you would like us to look at or that you would like to promote?
Oh, well, yeah. So my existing site is eddiehinkle.com. And yeah, so that's where all my content is right now. That's the Jekyll site.
Okay. I'm gonna. Problem is, normally I have a dual monitor set up, but right now I can't see all of you and look at the site at the same time. So I'm going to just look at you guys.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice.
Don't want to hurt your feelings.
No, you're good.
That leaves to me. My name is David Shansky. In the various chats, you'll see me using the abbreviation GWG because I was using that in Freenode long before I joined this community, and I just didn't want to change my Freenode nickname. My site is also my name, david.shansky.com. And if I could remember where that lower third thing is, I'd put it up on the screen. Where is that lower third thing?
I think it's the Google Hangouts toolbox
Okay.
in the left sidebar. I couldn't get it to load though.
Okay, well, I don't want to mess up the site. I'm a little worried that it's going to cause it to crash, and I'm the one running the board, so to speak. So I'll hold off on that. But it's like it sounds. And if you check the wiki, I'm sure you can find me there somewhere. So let's see. I was just enjoying Quiet Writing Hour, where I was posting random things, including a picture I took earlier this week when I was wandering around the local area. and something about the Indie Web Summit, which apparently took me 2 weeks to say anything about.
Are you still in Manila, by the way?
Yes, that's Manila behind you. If I open up the blinds, you would see Manila, except since the sun is shining directly on the camera, you would not see Manila. If you look at the picture of Manila posted on my site, that was actually taken out the window of the hotel room.
Cool.
I'm on the 40th floor of the Shangri-La, where I have been exiled for 2 weeks, soon to be 3. But on a fortunate note, it's given me a lot of time to work on some of my projects. So I'm sure Chris will smile because he seems to be one of my biggest fans. Or at least he's claimed to be a member of the fan club.
I've got my own foreign personal coder now.
That works. As long as you don't pay me in these.
Yeah.
You realize that one of these is worth about 2 cents? Actually, not 2 cents. It's 50 pesos to the dollar, so this is actually pretty much worthless. I have to do the math there, and I'm too tired. Anyway, so I've been working on location again. During the course of my time here, I've, let's say, updated 3 themes, but not the one that's currently on my website. Fixed a whole bunch of bugs, and now I'm in the midst of redoing location. And let's see, I have to check my change log to actually remember what I've been up to. What does that say about me? That I can't remember what I've been doing unless I check the change log.
Yeah.
Here we
too many
are.
things in your queue to do next.
I got annoyed that on every post the zoom on my maps wasn't customizable, so now it is. Let's see. The formula that figures out the map zoom is based on the estimated geolocation accuracy of the HTML5 geolocation that generated the map. But you can change it. And I'm still trying to make the map look better. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to make a map look better, I'm all ears.
Where is your map located?
Well, I can give you an example. Let's see. Somewhere in Hangouts, how can you post a link? I always forget. Let's see.
Is that chat in the top left sidebar?
Okay, let's see if I can send the link here. This is just a test post that I was using for styling.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
By the way, that's where I am right now. In between the golf course and the golf course and the mall.
Seems like a good location.
I don't know. I don't go very far. But I was using the location of this building, which is in the center of that map, and making some improvements. So I have to style the text below it, which is currently identifying where I am. And I've been working on adjusting the map. So on a positive note, as I said, now I can customize how far the map zooms in.
And you're just using Mapbox? I saw you were playing around with Bing Maps the other day.
Actually, if you give me 5 seconds, I can change it. Basically, there's a global setting that decides what's providing the map. So if I just, let's just say here, give me 1 second. If I just click one entry here, there are actually 3 of them. Bing is the newest one, but there's also Google Maps and Mapbox. So I just changed the setting to Google Maps. So if you go and basically refresh the page, you'll see the Google version of the same map.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
I figured let people use.
That's pretty awesome. We have to switch between them. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that should be a visitor-facing setting. That's more of the preference of whoever's using the site or whoever's setting it up. but there I am. In between on this version of the map, even though the location hasn't changed, I'm in between. There's a different zoom because even though it uses the same parameter, Google Zoom settings and Mapbox Zoom settings are apparently different. So this one is in between the Mind Museum and the High Street Cinemas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I figure anybody can fiddle with the Zoom setting based on whatever they want. But there we are. So there's more of that coming. So I'm going to continue working on that until I go to bed, which is in somewhere around probably 11 a.m. So what else do we do at a Homebrew Website Club? Let's see here. We've talked about our sites. It didn't take us 30 minutes.
Well, there's
Here we
only
are.
3 or 4 of us here, so.
Yeah. Questions about anything you're stuck on your about your personal site.
You already started that.
Notable indie web, own your data related press or events. I think Chris covered that one.
Well, the tiny hair of it. There's got to be other. Been anything else big this week?
Well, it's too early for this week in the indie web.
There's not a lot new on news.indieweb.org. It's like Peter Molnar. Oh yeah, I need to read this post. It's supposed to be pretty good.
Peter's post was pretty good.
Bookmarks, faves, likes, backfilling years of gaps. I started to read that. Yeah, it looked pretty good. And then Unicyclic.com now supports fat pings.
I was trying to remember what a fat ping was.
That is, if I'm remembering correctly, it's a web sub notification that includes the actual content, like the HTML or the JSON or whatever it is that you're sending, so that the subscriber doesn't necessarily have to go and fetch the URL to get the content. And I think actually, I have a hypothesis. I've been running into this with Feedly. When I send a push for my Atom feed or a web sub, whatever, Feedly like collapses white space between the links. So like when you're reading it on Feedly, it's just like, the links just run together with the other text. If I don't send a push and just let them like pull my feed regularly, it's fine. And I've definitely confirmed like my Atom feed looks fine. Like there's no like collapsing going on there. It's actually really frustrating because I like to send pings, but I have friends that are telling me like, hey, your site looks messed up in Feedly. And I can't seem to get anybody at Feedly to respond or care.
I wouldn't say friends yet, but I have made the acquaintance of the CEO of Feedly.
Oh,
so
cool.
If you post the difference of what's going on and send me a link,
sure.
There's a half a dozen things that I think Feedly could be doing better or more indie webish. And I'm about to start twisting arms. There's a few people have been away on vacation because it's July, but that's an interesting one.
It's actually, I put it up on the Feedly page on the wiki with screenshots. It happens with Tontext feed too. So web sub seems to be the only common factor. I don't know. I don't know if Superfeeder is collapsing the white space or if Feedly is, but yeah, something weird is going on there.
Does it fix if you send a fat ping one way and then they pull? And does it get fixed?
I've never done a fat ping. I don't know, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Or does it fix if you do one way versus the other?
I've only ever done just like, here's my Atom feed and it's updated. So I guess that's a slim ping or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah, maybe I should.
Their ability to find and discover feeds is miserable, and half the people who are in indie web who have H entry, that doesn't play well at all, whereas some of the other big feed readers do that pretty well.
Well, it should be easy for them to implement. At least implement it so it isn't messed up.
Yeah. And I think they're, it always feels like they're one of the biggest that's out there after Google Reader died.
I miss Google Reader.
A handful of people chasing
Yeah.
them, so could be worse.
What's worse, being on the system where somebody suggested that they improve the support and the developer just ripped the entire support out in response? Otherwise known as the service I'm on.
Could do that.
Well, that's why I'd consider leaving. I just don't have anything better to go to.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's
like
the question
it's
of
like
what do you
Churchill
want
said
more?
about democracy. It's the worst except for all the rest.
In my case, I'm
Go to
trying to decide
Woodwind.
what's worse. Somebody who's actively saying, I'm not going to support this, I'm getting rid of it, or somebody who just doesn't care to respond at all. Is it bad attention or no attention that's worse?
Better than passive aggressive attention.
I suppose.
Could be tougher. So Gregor, did you do any reading work at the tail
I've done
end?
very little. I did a little bit of changing to the markup that it sends through. So we're sending through an H site with, let me see. The URL, the title, and then the authors, which the authors is just a string, so it actually doesn't really handle multiple authors. Can worry about that later. So it's sending through that as, the structured micro format. And then as a fallback, I'm sending, excuse me, I'm sending the summary just as a plain text, like want to read this title and this URL. And I think the next thing I was going to do is actually send through e-content, like structured HTML. So that way, if you don't understand HSite and build the post on your end, you can just take the e-content and have something usable.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now. And then probably the next thing after that was I was going to try to figure out micropub endpoint configuration for the status options. So there's 3 status options right now: want to read, currently reading, and finished reading. But that should probably be supplied by the micropub endpoint. And then also I wanted to be able to query individual books, so like you can just select a book you're already reading and you're not like re-entering the information.
Yeah.
Have you tried it at all yet?
I haven't played with it yet.
Okay.
I'm still playing catch up from 3 weeks ago.
Understandable.
Well, we're
In
sorry
fact,
we
the tough
missed
part
you.
is David's been pushing more fixes and changes and updates than I even have time to test.
I'm sorry. What else is there to do here?
I'm just blindly deploying at this point now.
I go to work at 8 in the evening. I come back at 5 in the morning. Even if I wanted to go, but what am I going to do? Wander around the streets?
You could.
When I have a night off, it's at 2 in the morning. I ended up down in the gym.
Yeah. It'd be worse.
Yeah. Me working on indie web things is not exactly the worst thing in the world.
Also, I saw your comment about the WordPress channel in your post.
I was against it.
I know you were against it, but now that you've seen it for a couple weeks, are you more for it or still against it?
Well, I don't know. The fact that people who are not WordPress enthusiasts have been keeping an eye on it and contributing eliminates my biggest concern, which is that we'd be siloing ourselves off from the rest of the community.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think that most people are paying some reasonable attention. The thing I've noticed, too, is Matthias has spent more time there than I've seen in a year and a half.
Well, that's because
Seems-
it's now part of the Slack bridge.
Yeah. Well, that helps too, I guess.
I think it helps with his availability.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It seems to have done and spun off in a better direction than I would have expected it to have. So,
I was just afraid we weren't ready for another subdivision, but it seems to have worked. Maybe next year we'll get another 4 chat rooms.
oh no, it's exponential. So we need 8 next year.
We only got
Indie-
2 this year. That is
IndieWeb,
exponential.
IndieWeb-tribbles.
Yeah, but we're at a total of 4 though, so we've got to double again.
I don't know.
I was
I'm trying to think
actually,
of one that would realistically make sense.
I was skeptical of the meta channel at first. Although I got convinced at the Leader Summit when they were talking about it. And actually since then, yeah, I do really like it. I even like the separating out the wiki edits like that for events and stuff.
Well, it's been working well so far. You've noticed the WordPress ones appear in the WordPress room, the meta ones, not everything, but at least the ones where it was easily identifiable.
I'm in WordPress, but honestly, I've like looked at it a couple times. So
You're always welcome.
thank you.
Well, it feels like there's twice as much to read now. That's the thing that kills me, I think.
Well,
Oh yeah.
I need something to do while I'm eating dinner.
Yeah. Maybe next year we'll have the David Shansky channel.
I need one.
Sure.
You can't get me to post to my website often enough. You want a channel of me?
Why not? Or maybe an Eddie channel.
all Eddie all the time?
There you go.
Basically, it would just be a funnel of all of my watch posts into that channel.
I don't know. I haven't written any watch posts, although I have the ability to do so sort of manually.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have a lot of things I set up manually that I haven't automated. The more
That
I
makes
automate things, the more likely I am to actually do them. But I am nowhere near the level of automation I need to actually do more.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm like with my watch posts, I'm like semi-automated because like I use Netflix and stuff, so there's basically no way for me to actually get at my watch data, like
Which
about
is
what I've been
depressing,
watching. It is. I had this great idea. I was like, I'm gonna auto like do watch posts from Netflix, and then it was shut down. So I was like, you got to be kidding me. But
Same with
yeah,
the
so I
YouTube one.
basically, yeah. So I basically have like a command line script where I enter the name of whatever it is I'm watching and like season and episode number, and then it'll go ahead and like get the current timestamp and like create the post for me with just a couple of inputs. So it's not like as intensive as entering a bunch of data. But I do have to manually do something to actually like trigger it to exist.
Well, I may get there at some point. I don't mind manual, but just the posts that I did earlier, I have to custom set all of the posse settings. I have to write the thing. You know, there are too many things that I would like it to make decisions on that I haven't gotten it to yet.
Yeah, that's rough, definitely.
I'll get there. But
Well,
then I'll
Eddie's
probably
probably-
find out that I'm also not posting enough even after I've made it easier.
Yeah. Well, Eddie's got I think probably the prettiest watch posts that are out there that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We have to look and see what Jonathan did. His little mini demo for watch posts to known was pretty slick with his, I think he was using a Plex setup.
I'm still disturbed by the smoker thing, though.
Oh yeah, well,
I don't know where is the line, and how do you know if anybody's crossed it anymore?
well,
I
I
don't know if
thought
there
I
is
was,
a line.
I thought I was, Indie Webcat was, is a quirky, like, but it's a good way to like test things out. Actually, is the nice part. And a year or so ago, I think I built an indie website for a library that's in front of my house. But the smoker was really maybe the step too far.
Like
I don't know. I
a
also
little
always thought
library,
that
or
Aaron was heading towards the step too far.
Yeah. I have a little free library in front of the house.
nice.
There's too many books here, and I needed a way to get rid of them. So I thought setting up a library would help that, and it's actually made things way worse.
What's the site for it,
Um,
if you don't mind?
it's my domain name with a subdomain LFL 8424 for Little Free Library 8424.bafosako.com. I can dump it in the chat.
I got it here, I think. Yeah. So do you actually keep the catalog on here? Or
There's so many books that go through it so regularly, and my problem is I don't even remember to update it as often as I should. I used to scan and catalog all the books, and had both a Goodreads account for it and a
oh wow.
book crossing account. And it was there was just I was going through like 500 books a year for flowing this library. I couldn't keep up with it.
Wow.
It was too much. Even automated scanning apps made it way too much trouble. So the best I
So
do
is your
now is
library
occasionally
relocating?
I'll take Instagram photos of what's in the library now, and then use that to kind of auto post. So it's
Cool.
probably been a month since I've updated it.
Is your library relocating in the near future?
That's that's one of the tough questions. We have to cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. The placard on it with the serial numbers going with me, I'm not sure if we're going to take the library itself. It depends on who buys the house.
Well, is that a selling feature? Did you put on the listing? Comes with free library?
No, we didn't list it specifically for that reason.
Oh, so you think it's not a selling point? Because I would certainly be interested in a
Well,
house
it
with
is.
free library.
It's a selling point for getting to know your neighbors, and I'm sure if I take it, the neighbors are going to miss it. But it's like a swimming pool. It's nice to have one, but if you have to maintain it and do the upkeep, it depends on what your opinion is on having a library in front of your houses.
I'd have to check with the local homeowners association.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most
Then again, somebody
HOAs
parks a
would
bike
treat
on the
that
grass. They can't be that specific.
It's not easy.
Oh, we
Look,
have
it's
somebody new coming, so he is required to introduce himself and talk about his website.
This guy looks a little sketchy.
I don't think he knows he's on live yet.
I don't think he
No,
does
that's his
either. Hey,
normal-
Marty.
That's his normal face.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hear you guys yet. I was working with these headphones.
Nice.
So whatever things you said, I didn't hear them. I'll have to check the archive.
They said you
There
look
we go.
sketchy.
Delete.
But I just said that because you are a newcomer, you have to introduce yourself, your domain, and what you are working on, and all of the other required Homebrew Website Club parameters.
All right. My name is Marty McGuire. My website is most easily found at mmg.re. I most recently worked on publishing all of the Homebrew Website Club notes for the evening for Baltimore to my website. And I'm currently working on some things that I talked about there, which is adding iCal links to all of my events that I self-host. So I'm working on a Jekyll plugin that will find event posts and create little ICS side files for them.
Nice.
Nice.
I need to do that for a client at work, actually. But I was going to do it in
Reminds
PHP.
Did Aaron ever set up that Calligator instance for us to play with?
I don't think so.
Okay. There's no rush. We don't have any events going on other than the Homebrew Website Club stuff. Oh, look, Marty is on the move.
Yeah, sorry. I just got home, so I have to do all of my, like, getting something to drink and having a snack.
Okay, I like the cabinets. They're very nice.
Showing the internet your house.
Yeah, whatever.
If anyone needs to stalk you in the future, they just, look for the archive of this video and they're all set.
By the way,
That's right.
if anybody would like to stop by and see me, I usually don't tell people where I am, but if you happen to be in the neighborhood, I haven't seen a friendly face in a while. So, well, actually, they're all friendly, but I haven't seen a familiar face in a while. So all you have to do is visit the Shangri-La at the fort in Manila.
Nice.
Be right over.
I'm sure someone will be down there.
Well, I don't know if there's any Homebrew Website Club interest. I'll be here for another few more days.
He's there
Then
all week.
hopefully-
Don't forget to tip your waiter.
I'm hoping that they let me come home.
Is it open-ended how long you're there?
No, but I don't have a ticket back.
I see.
That shows how much my employer appreciates me, especially after he couldn't get me on a plane on the way out, and I had to buy my own ticket to Manila. One way.
Seriously?
Hopefully they'll reimburse me when I get back.
You'd
Can you file that reimbursement paperwork now?
No, because I have to have it signed by my boss, and he's on the other side of the world. We haven't invented digital receipt filing technology at my company.
You'd think it working for an airline, they'd at least be able to get you a plane ticket somewhere.
Oh, they did. It just they got me one on Delta, and they put me on the wait list at number 36 of 36.
Woof.
So rather than making me wait around for yet another day, he told me, buy the ticket, I'll pay you back. But he only told me to buy a one-way. So hopefully by the time I'm scheduled to come back, somebody will tell me how to get there. But we'll see. As of now, I do have a standby ticket to fly back via Detroit.
Ooh, does that go like Manila to Detroit to New York?
No, Manila to Detroit with a stop in Tokyo, and then change to a plane to New York.
That makes sense. Is
So
that a Great Circle route?
No, but it is a route where they could pull me off the plane at any stop.
Oof.
We'll see. I'm told it's being worked on.
Well, they have a couple days yet. How is your job going in Manila?
Well, let's see. The people here seem to be learning what they need to know, but they have my email address, so I suppose they'll be emailing me if they have any problems. And there's supposed to be an inspection of this office every 6 months, which means I will likely not be able to get out of coming back at least once a year.
That's good news for the indie web.
If you well, how about this, Chris? You're much more dynamic than I am. Can you start working on the on Indie Web Camp Manila so that the next time I come here, it will be available to me?
Yeah, we can do that. Well, your output while you're there is,
Well,
5 times greater than when you're in New York. So,
well, I have other things to do in New York. I have to shop. I have to do my laundry. I have to cook.
yeah.
Distractions all.
Yeah.
Blue Apron.
Well,
Actually,
I can't
I've used Blue Apron, and it's great, but I think I'm just a slow cook. It always takes longer than they say, and I'm just me. So
I've been getting my food. I've been getting my food from Jap.
Yeah.
But familiar with him.
The Jewish Association of the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
They have a logo. Yeah, so basically I went there and bought 5 portions of schnitzel, and it's been in the mini bar for the last week. They didn't give me a refrigerator, so I basically had them empty the mini bar so that I would have somewhere to put the food. But either way, hopefully I'll get a few more things done. I have a redesign of the links in the simple location. I have some bug fixes and syndication links. I have a whole bunch of post-kind stuff. Oh, Chris, since you're one of the most active users of my work, this is the time for you to file some issues.
Which one should I focus on this week?
So I'm saying if you file some issues, then it is possible that I may get to some of them before I leave town.
Okay. So you're actually running out of stuff to do.
Oh, no, I never run out of stuff to do. I'm just saying I'm more likely to do it if somebody files it than I am just thinking up my own.
Oh, okay.
I jump from
When,
project to project.
When Marty gets back, we should do a photo or
Yeah,
screenshot.
that's what I was waiting for.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was tooling around my kitchen.
We could do a photo with that, stock photo of him. It's pretty entertaining, actually.
It's my Marty splaining photo.
Marty splaining, is what you said?
Yeah, that's the face that I make when I'm explaining things. All right, back. Let's see if I can look shady.
Well, I don't know. I don't think I can hold that expression for very long.
Can you resize the boxes on these to get a better photo out of it?
I don't know if you can.
I don't think you can now.
But you can always zoom in.
Get real close to your camera.
Yeah.
The original zoom in.
Enhance.
Do that.
The nose is a virtual.
Let me turn on my lower third here.
No fair. We can't get ours working.
You don't have the old school Hangout toolbox?
I keep saying it needs your permission in order to start. I click continue and a window pops up and disappears.
I think because they've been sunsetting this for a while.
I was afraid that it might cause this computer to restart and since I'm the one doing the broadcast, I was worried about clicking it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The screwy part for me is now that I've made one, I can't edit it.
Oh no.
Well, I think it works for you.
Indie web weirdo. Now and forever.
Breaking
that the
all
term?
the things.
All right, who's taking that screenshot?
Oh, I always volunteer for somebody else.
Hey, everybody's got a smile. I've got one, but it's going to be terrible. Oh, there we go.
See if I can get the glare out of my glasses. All these laptop cams.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I don't know. I didn't. Usually, I bring a separate camera, and because I don't like the fact that you can't really rotate the one that's built into a laptop, but space was somewhat at a premium.
Yeah.
The worst part was when I had to haul 3 weeks worth of stuff for this trip up a hill in Portland.
Both ways?
No, when I left Indie Web Camp on Sunday, I was heading towards the train, and I basically had to haul one gigantic rolling suitcase, one duffel bag, and a backpack up a hill to get all the way to the nearest transit stop for the line to the airport.
Uh-oh.
And then I found out the train was not going to be there for 20 minutes.
That's rough.
Time to catch your breath.
But it was nice. I vowed that some of this stuff is never leaving this hotel room again.
What stays? Starts in Manila, stays in Manila.
No, the tuna packets I brought in the event I couldn't find local food are not coming back with me.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I had a suitcase with let's see, 30 tuna packets, a whole bunch of mayo packets, peanut butter packets. So basically anything that was shelf stable that you can put in a packet. And then since I didn't bring plates, I brought whole wheat wraps, which were crushed at the bottom of my bag. Unfortunately, they're flat to begin with, so that I could wrap the tuna or the peanut butter in. Oh, and a whole bunch of protein bars.
Sounds pretty good.
Would you like some? I still have some.
Yeah, I'll swing by.
Okay. You're always welcome. I have room here.
Oh, so Marty, are we gonna have to wait for every episode for the next 12 weeks to get all the little mini interviews, or are you gonna release them at the end as a here are all the interviews in one fell swoop?
I've been reserving my time to edit them when I make the podcast, so they're all recorded, but none of them are edited except the ones that have been released. I'll probably put up individual MP3s on a page somewhere once they're all done.
Or do
What's
or
that
do an
glowing on the wall
outtakes
behind you, by
episode.
the way?
Oh, sorry, I heard two people at once.
Go ahead,
What
Dave.
was that glowing on the wall behind you?
Oh, the glowing. That's my weekly calendar. So I will let the internet see my weekly calendar, I guess. So it shows the current date is Wednesday. I don't know if you can see any of that with this contrast.
No, a little too blurry.
But basically, there's an LED strip and a set of letters, and then we draw the weekly schedule below those.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris, what were you asking?
Oh, were you gonna do an outtakes episode? Were there any good outtakes?
So far, like we kept it pretty concise. Doing 1 minute, it's like there wasn't any total screw up or anything. So yeah, I'll see. I thought Doug Beal's the first one was pretty good,
Yeah.
where I said, "What do you want to add to your site?" And he just said, "A web ring." Like there was actually I tend to cut out like long silences, but there was no silence to cut there. He was ready with that answer.
No, that's good. Well, I heard a lot of big plans for web rings on the virtual side, but I'm waiting to see one actually take shape.
Yeah, I haven't seen Doug Beal in the chat. I bought that domain, and I think he was getting some software set up. But if nothing else happens, this is going to be a good time for me to like play with some Python indie auth libraries and just see like what is the minimalist, like no database, all flat files, login with your website version of a web ring that I can bang together and open source. Yeah, I need to refocus on that. Maybe that will be something good to work on in the next couple weeks.
I'm sorry, I'm just feeling the love right now. I just got a message. Spell check your post about the cemetery.
Oof.
Was that from your mom?
Yeah. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're from a family of teachers.
I'm surprised I got no your mom jokes today, actually.
Oh yeah.
I have.
Wow, especially given that it was on the front page of Hacker News for so long.
Your
I don't
mom
know.
likes your post.
I told you that
There
she's
it
mad
is.
at you. She's. I showed her that story. She's convinced that she's ruining my social life. I
Just
asked
tell
her
her
if I
it's
was
true.
allowed to make fun of her in public. She told me I was, so otherwise I wouldn't do it. As long as
Send
it's
her
in
a-
a respectful manner.
Send her a screenshot of this and say your social life is doing just fine.
Well, as soon as the
There you
picture's
go.
posted, I'll send her the link.
Yeah, we have people in almost as many time zones as we do people. So
Well, we have Eastern Standard, and we have Pacific, and we have I don't know, what do you call this time zone? Well, I don't know, because I have that plugin that goes onto my site and changes the time zone to display based on where I am.
yeah.
So instead, the ones that are set for New York say EDT, Eastern Daylight Time. The ones that are set for Manila time say +08. So apparently, this time zone does not have a name. I actually have to look up if I can actually set the name. I've never looked.
Time zones are hard.
Yeah, I know. That's why I stole all of my most important time zone code from Aaron Parecki. That's where I get most of my plagiarized ideas.
So do you have your Weasley clock already set up?
No, I was more referring to when I take his libraries and adapt them. Then what has happened 2 times now is 1 to 2 weeks after I've basically liberally created my own version of his code, he's actually spun it off into a library and distributed it.
Yeah.
He did that for the time zone code, and then he did it for X-ray, which I took swaths of and wrote my own version of. Oh well, it's all good.
I thought the Overcast app had a history of things you listened to, but I can't seem to find it. At least on the website.
Me.
Maybe the app proper. So that means I need to start tracking that on my site.
I'm trying to decide if I should add weather.
Like the weather where you are?
Well, no. It goes hand in hand with location. Should I start making it so that you could actually post, in addition to where you are, what the weather was at that exact time?
Right.
Darksky.net, as I understand it, has a good API for that. It might even be what Aaron's using.
Yeah, but I also have my own weather station, which I've never posted the data for publicly. Although I am on Weather Underground.
So for folks doing podcast stuff, has anyone used Gpotter?
I used
What
it
is that?
ago.
Is that a consuming app or?
Yeah, it's a consuming app.
It's a mix of things. So, oh great, they're down for maintenance right now. It has like a discovery directory and some clients, but it's also got a server component that works like a scrobbler. So like I think events were added recently, but essentially it's like partially to sync your feeds so that all of your, like you can use multiple devices, and I think even sync position within particular tracks, but also like keep track of which episodes of what podcast you've played. And the server for it is open source. So I've been thinking about trying to set this up as a catcher. It works with AntennaPod on Android, and I don't know what else.
Yeah,
obviously, it's its own client.
I tried
using
Gpotter and AntennaPod for a while, but I ended up back with Pocket Casts for ease of use.
I see gpotter.github.io, a simple open source podcast client written in Python.
Yeah, so that is a client that like talks to this service to do all of the syncing and social aspects. So like part of it is that there's a directory with recommendations. So there's like that sort of social sharing aspect. But I'm really interested in the fact that there's this API for events, and if theoretically like AntennaPod should be sending the stuff to it. I need to get an instance set up. Basically, I want to try it out, but I think it would be really sweet to basically create listened posts on my site automatically with this.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to do that for just like songs that I'm listening to. That's a lot, but like podcast episodes that I listen to, I think that makes sense. I'll report back since I can't piggyback on anybody else's prior experience.
Well, did you chat with Jim Pick over the weekend?
A little. He showed me some of the demos of things that he's working on, which are really cool. But it didn't sound like there was a lot to like pick up and just use as someone, you know, with your own website and podcast. So there's some really cool stuff, but like there's a live transcript thing, and there are several different versions of that. There's a really cool thing they're working on, which lets you share snippets of some audio. So you can like take a live transcript, highlight it, and then republish it. And they've built a whole pipeline that will find the audio boundaries you were looking for, render the text to an animation, and generate a video that you can then embed. And so it embeds like the snippet of the website the snippet of the podcast as a video with the sort of live highlighting, which you can like share to Facebook or whatever. Like it's really slick looking, the output. But I can also see how it's like kind of early days on the design and the UX for it.
And more posse oriented rather than creator oriented.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting that there isn't a lot that I'm aware of in the podcast sharing space. Like even just like Gregor's poking me to write about what podcasts I listen to, I was like, oh wait, this is like kind of hard. There's not a lot of examples of how to do it.
Yeah, or
Have you ever heard of being a trendsetter?
To be using Huffduffer, really.
Yeah, Huffduffer is pretty amazing.
And simple for what it is.
Yeah, I like how it's basically like the simplest web building blocks that will get the job done, and it totally works.
It's handy for like throwing together, I want to listen to this episode, but I don't want to subscribe to it. So I just like go find one episode and kind of make a composite feed. Or podcasts that are really old, like they're still online, but they're not in the feed anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I just started using it for that. I've been using it to do the RSS feed for the IndieWeb audio edition thing, and that's been great. But I only just started using it to like collect podcasts that like maybe I want to try this out, and it's super good.
Are you Schmarty on there as well?
Yeah.
I've not used it much. But there's a bit of a social networking aspect to it. You know, you can friend people, and then you're in your network, and then you have like a feed of everything in your network. So that can be interesting too. If I can remember my password. There we go. Oh, sorry, not network. It's collective.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Even better.
A little more Soviet era.
That's right. Let us listen together, comrades. Tell me your hot take.
There are no people in Schmarty's collective. Oh.
Nope. I don't even know how to use it for that.
It's not.
One simple thing you can do is start assimilating. Sorry,
it's not terribly obvious, but when you go to somebody's profile, there's a plus sign in the top right. I think it used to say more like add this person to my collective, but now it's just a plus. Anyway, I added you, so.
Uh-oh. Now I'm in someone's collective. What are you on there?
Gregor Love.
Probably. I see a plus. You're added. Oh, what a cute animation.
I suppose it would be nice if you got a notification that somebody followed you so that you could reciprocate.
Yeah, how do we pace all this Huffduffer stuff?
The toughest part is it's a great discovery engine, but discovering people so that you can discover what they're listening to is actually the hard part. Because you can't plug in, let's say, like your, Twitter follower list to find everybody on Twitter who's on Huffduffer.
Right.
I need better blinds in my office because I'm being blinded.
Have you considered curtains? See, look at this. If you pull it back, you get light, and otherwise it creates a lovely
yes.
podcasting background.
Sell me on curtains, yes.
Why not? I have curtains at home.
This is an
Basically,
apartment that I'm probably not going to live in much longer. So
okay.
Right.
usually that's actually my sign. Like the day is over, go outside. So it's not usually that much of an issue.
When it hits you in the face.
Yep.
Well, right now I need the curtains because otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep during the day.
Fair. I think I'm going to get going, guys.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
It's about time to wrap up here.
Enjoy the rest of your daylight.
Enjoy the rest of your dark. Bye, guys.
I always do. Take it easy.
This broadcast ends now.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.